Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. We are 100% back live. And let me tell you what, it's hard to know how to take the game yesterday because and honestly, that's the reason why I needed 24 hours to think about it. And I realized that by doing that, I basically wasn't going to get the chance to have a lot of live viewers today, and that's okay. But today, I am joined by the one and only Matthew McFadden. Matthew, how you doing, man? I know that it was probably a long one for you yesterday.
Not exactly my finest day yesterday, even though I went to the game. I think it was a case of everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. So, I mean, today at least I actually got some sleep. And my sleeping schedule is that out of Arizona now, so,
yes,
it could be worse. Could be worse.
Yes, it could be very much so worse. You are here, and it's like 5:30 p.m. here in Arizona, so I'm actually doing this at a relatively normal time for me. I just got off of work. It's been a long day, but I wanted to be live with you guys. So, Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's jump into it. You were there. What are your initial thoughts on the match?
Right, I think most of us were actually quite confident going into this game, and rightly so. However, I think we all knew that a loss was going to come sometimes, but it's the fact that it's actually happened is kind of, or at least initially right after the game, is kind of sort of killed the mood, really. However, in hindsight, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever, we lost to a better team, and even if we're not out of the Champions League, then it's a blessing in disguise because we can focus on the league more. But the game itself was terrible. Like, don't get me wrong, we lost it because we were the worst team in PSG tactically in terms of personnel, even though they had Neymar and Cavani out. They were just better. However, that referee was, I don't even know any words to describe him. Like, that is some Qatari money stuff going on right here.
It was genuinely diabolical from the start. Like, he gave out a yellow card so early that he left himself no place to come back to.
Yep.
Basically made it.
The first goal scorer should have got sent off.
Yep. Oh, we all know that. Like, 100%, if Ashley Young got a card for almost it was even a lesser foul because 100% Kylian Mbappe took a bit of a dive when Ashley Young was trying to get around him, and Ashley Young got a card. Whereas he threw Rashford.
Be a harsh ref. Yeah. Like, if you're going to be a harsh ref, at least be consistently harsh.
Yep.
But it was like anytime he had his sort of blue tinted glasses on in a way. Anytime played it felt a Man United player, it'd be like, nah, just play on. But anytime a Man United player would just breathe down next of a PSG man, and then they'd dive and roll about in the ground for about 47 minutes at a time, looking at you, Danny Alves, it would be a card for United. I just didn't get it whatsoever.
And it was really frustrating. And I put the tweet out there that I felt like I was watching the Olympics again with all this diving that was going on. And not only
an NFL game,
it was
just how fucked up it was.
Like, genuinely, I felt like it was more of an NFL game at times than it was a football match because there was so much of this stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. There was a point in the first half where there was basically a card coming out every 5 minutes. That's stuff that happens like at the end of the match when a referee's trying to regain control of it. That's not what you do when you're trying to, like, start off a match, for God's sakes. Like, he literally handed out cards like they were candy on Halloween. It was that many cards. And it made it so it was a really hard match to watch at times. Like, I felt like there was times for a Champions League match where I was on my phone more than I was actually watching the match because of how much stop and go. And like you mentioned, Matthew, the fact that the ball, like, any time a PSG player went down, it was like they had been stricken with cancer and been shot by a sniper at close range simultaneously.
Yeah, it's just like suddenly they had every single synth known to man.
But
yeah, like it got to the point, even in the second half, it was just a case of me and some random guy who I sat next to were just talking throughout it.
Yeah.
Like, the ref just made the game so frustrating to watch. And that's just not what you want to see in such a huge tie between two, elite clubs.
Which Jay King's 100%. The referee does have the balls of a badger. It was absolutely pathetic to watch the refereeing decisions of that match. And, at the same time, though, I mean, Matthew, and I know you'll agree with me for the most part, I don't blame the loss on the referee.
No, like, I don't blame. If someone was to ask why did we lose, I'd say because we were the worst team, but the ref didn't help it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Contributed to it. But it was sort of like, if I was to give an example, it would be like 80% because we were just terrible and 20% because of the ref.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like 80%, we were like, I would even say as far as to say 90%, like, because at the end of the day, you have to be able to adjust for what a referee and their decisions are going to be. But
yeah,
we were just not like, and especially, and this is something we could talk about too, especially once Martial and Lingard left the pitch, I knew for a fact that the best we could hope for was getting a 0-0. Because I knew we were not going to score unless we got extremely, extremely lucky. And that wound up being the case because you could see once Martial and Lingard were off the pitch, it left us with no places to go. It was a rough one to watch. And
I think most of us going into that second half, as soon as we saw Lingard and Martial come off for those two, I'm not even going to name them at this point. I think most of us were just sort of thinking, oh, this is going to be a long second half.
Yep. Like, and it sucks. It sucks knowing that we and that's the thing is ultimately it comes down to it. I think that the one thing you could say about Manchester United at the moment is that we do have an issue with depth. And the sad part is, at least in terms of our attacking talent, we should not have an issue with depth to this extent. Because you get down to it, Alexis Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku should be good enough for Manchester United. But it's like they've basically down tools and given up. Which, by the way, Marcus, happy Valentine's Day to you as well.
And happy birthday.
And
his birthday technically yesterday.
Say what?
Yeah.
I feel bad now. Marcus, happy birthday.
It was kind of like a birthday stream.
Like, Marcus, genuinely, I apologize. It's been, I was talking the other day. It's just been a very long few days. Happy birthday, Marcus. Yeah, we love you here on this stream, and you're welcome anytime. Dan Jones, it's good to see you. I know we're streaming a little bit late for you guys, but we wanted to get you guys a review of this match. So, I mean, Matthew, and it's something that we do need to talk about. Do you think it's time to, even if it is against PSG, be giving the likes of Mason Greenwood to Heath Chong and Angel Gomez minutes for Manchester United?
I mean, if it means that the second choice front three doesn't play, then I'm all for it. Because quite frankly, all of Lukaku, Mata and Sanchez can just go just now for all I care. So yeah, just bring them into a game. And the best way that they're actually going to get experience, or at least I'd say, is to put them in the deep end.
Yeah.
Is to actually give them that experience in such a huge game. Because they've already played a game in such a massive atmosphere. And if it's at the Parc des Princes in some kind of, hostile atmosphere. But yeah, I know obviously this isn't the Chelsea preview, but against Chelsea, I'd want to see one or two youth players on the bench.
100%.
I'm not sure if they themselves have maybe warranted being in the first team, but the substitutes have warranted being out of the first team.
Mm. Yeah. And I agree with that. And the sad part is that with the injuries of Martial and Lingard, which are looking like they might miss that Chelsea match, which is unfortunate because we desperately need them. And I want to beat Chelsea so bad. I want to win that FA Cup match so bad. But knowing that there's the possibility that Martial and Lingard will not be able to be in that match, I genuinely think that we're just going to be in a tough spot. I just think that we're going to have to basically either give our youth players a chance, or we're going to have to see the likes of Alexis Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku step up, because they need to step up if we are going to get through this period. We need them, and it feels like they are just dead in the water. Marcus, no problem, my friend. And then Wesker for Life said, play them in Cup at Chelsea. If Martial and Lingard are out, it will show what they can do, which I'm actually fine with. Dan Jones said, not even lying, Alexis Sanchez is one of the biggest flops I've ever seen in the United shirt, judging him off of performances, expectations, and, and the money he's on, which that is 100% fact, Dan. When someone's a bigger flop...
Bunchemail, the biggest flop.
Yeah.
Like, no question about it. But I don't care that he technically didn't cost anything. I know it was a swap for Mickey, but he didn't cost anything. But when you consider like how high profile a player he was, in fact, he was one of the best players in the Premier League, being compared to the likes of Hazard and De Bruyne, and has come here and scored 4 goals in over a calendar year. Like, and that doesn't even do justice. It's not even the fact that he's not scored many goals. It's just the fact that his performances have been so woeful. He doesn't even look like he cares.
Yeah.
Apparently he's still, a sort of peripheral figure in the squad, and he doesn't really want to integrate with the sort of wider squad. I just don't think he can accept that he's not first choice anymore.
I agree with you. And Wesker, just so you know, it's something we were going to talk about, is the fact that Pogba got a second yellow in that match and is now on the red card, will not be playing against PSG. I think that this is the perfect match to either put Fred or Pereira in that Paul Pogba spot. I mean, and I know Matthew will agree with me 100% on that.
No, I disagree.
Like, I think that there's no chance that we should not be playing one of the two at that spot, because we're not going to have a choice but to. And
to be fair, I probably stop Pereira. Like, I know Fred's not getting a single game in the moment, but Pereira, to be fair, even though I have said so, he's not been playing in the right position. He's been playing too much as like a number 6 or box-to-box midfielder. If he's playing further forward in that kind of Pogba role where he's like a mix of a central midfielder and a winger, then he'll probably do quite well. But then again, Fred's, you want to give a new signing some game time, but either one of those two I'll be happy with.
Well, and real quick, so I wanted to say hi to Roberto Bestwick. I think that's how you're going to say your last name. He said that he's a Juventus fan. He said that Daniel Orsato guy, the referee, has screwed Juventus over many times over the years, just handing out yellows willy-nilly, which is that honestly doesn't surprise me in the very least. Which, by the way, Matthew, apparently you have a twin. Just thought I'd let you know. And then
oh, yeah.
Pogba to have a week off before a crucial match against Arsenal, which, Phil, honestly, that's true. And I think that when you get down to the brass tacks of it, I think we all know that we're going to go into the second leg against PSG, and we will be lucky to come out of this game with a draw, let alone a win. So why not focus on the league? Why not focus on the FA Cup and really go at these two competitions and make it so we're going to make it so they're ours. We need to get top 4. We need to get the FA Cup. And if that happens, I think if top 4 and FA Cup happen, I see no way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't handed the job at the end of the year. And Matthew, I'm almost positive you will agree with me on that one.
No, definitely. I definitely agree.
And Nathan Harper, good to see you, my friend. Happy to have some new people on here. Hoping that the stream time isn't too crazy for some of you guys. But as much as the ref was crap, let's be real, PSG deserved to win this game. Roberto, and you're absolutely right about that. We both did echo that. That despite the fact that the ref was horrible, Manchester United just are not ready to be on the level with Europe's elite. And guess what? That's okay. That's okay to say. We are not ready to be on the level with Europe's elite. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Matthew, you know what? I think it's time because it's really going to allow us to jump into this match a bit. Let's get into these player ratings. So let's start with David De Gea, who, let's be real, the 2 goals that went in, there was literally nothing that he could do about them. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, luckily for me, the 2 goals didn't happen in the end I was at. It was the complete opposite end of the pitch, so I didn't really have to go through the torture of seeing them close up. But yeah, David De Gea didn't really have much to do. Even though PSG were the dominant team for most part of the game, he himself didn't really have to make any saves apart from one decent save that I think it was from an Mbappe header in the second half. I think that's when it was still 0-0. It was either 0-0 or 1-0.
It was
in the second half.
It was 0-0.
Because the whole stadium, or the whole sort of end that I was at, just kind of gasped and then just breathed a huge sigh of relief when he saved it. But really, apart from that, he didn't have anything to do, or didn't really have much to do. So 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10 maybe.
And I think that I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 as well, because realistically, I mean, you give up 2 goals, and as unfortunate as it is, even though I don't think they're his fault, I think that has to drop his rating a little bit. But he did still make the saves, like the good saves when he needed to. Guys, by the way, if you want to have your ratings read out on the show, get them into the live comments now, and I will be sure to read them out for you. So, Matthew, your twin said De Gea 7. Roberto Beswick said 7.5. Dan Jones said 7. And then Roberto also said beyond United starting 11, it's a shambles. It really is. The squad depth is really awful, which that is 100% true. The squad depth that we have at the moment, especially in the attacking sense, is awful because none of our attacking players are stepping up at the moment. Let's see here. I lost my spot, Matthew. I apologize. Made world-class save. Yeah, it's, Roberto said De Gea made a world-class save to deny Mbappe his second goal, which he did. He also made that save even though it was offsides where Di Maria tried to round him.
I'll tell you what, that was Di Maria in the first half produced 2 of the funniest moments I've ever seen at Old Trafford. Because I don't know how loud the crowds were in terms of the TV as soon as Di Maria got in the ball, but the whole stadium were booing him.
Yep.
And it was just the best thing ever. So, for the whole point, we were just shouting out, boo! We're booing the hell out of him. As soon as he got in the ball and he went on that nice little run, and we thought, no, he's going to score here. And then David De Gea somehow managed to save that. I mean, to be fair, it was a terrible shot from Di Maria. He's one of the most one-footed players ever. But yeah, took that shot and De Gea saved it. And it wasn't even cheers, it was laughing. And I thought, that is peak fandom right there.
Listen, and like Di Maria said, and I think that a lot of United fans hold a grudge against Di Maria because of the way that he handled himself here at Manchester United. It's not the fact that we necessarily disliked him, but it's the fact that he just did not give his all for Manchester United. I think that fans saw that, and it just is kind of makes you be like, ugh, you know? Like Di Maria, the snake that is, by the way, all the snakes in the chat right now, feel free to put your snakes in the chat because that man is a snake. And the fact that he said F off to the disabled section, that man can go away. Go away. Like, I have no good feelings towards not only him, but PSG in general, because hearing about how PSG fans ruined 800 seats in the away end. You guys are garbage human beings that you came into another team's stadium and ruined 800 plus seats in the away end for other fans. Absolutely garbage human beings. Let's see here.
They ruined 75,000 people's hopes and dreams as well, but 800 seats that's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how much coverage it got, but I think it was either after the first goal or the second goal. Like all the to be fair, right, I didn't know about those seats, so I was going to give massive credit to the PSG fans because they were just mental on the day. However, there was like a small little section of them who just went over to try and fight the Man United fans. It was kind of like Eric Cantona's kung fu kick against that random Crystal Palace fan.
Yeah,
but it was like 20 of them in at once, and it's like, oh, come on, you're spoiling it for the whole group who've been like just mad the whole time. You just get that little portion of people who just kick United fans. And even outside Old Trafford as well, when they were going to the game. I told you a story off camera, Andrew. When I got myself an Uber to Old Trafford.
Yes.
And the traffic was so bad, so I just said to the Uber driver, look, I'll just jump out here. And it was quite near Old Trafford. And I jumped out right at the exact same second that literally about 1,000 PSG fans came out. So for a good 2 minutes, I was amongst the PSG fans. And I genuinely thought I was going to get stabbed or something if they knew I was a United fan.
I mean, you probably would have. So you probably did a good job by just staying quiet.
Yeah, stay quiet. I tried my best to look lost, just to fit in a little bit more.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It was real quick. So let's finish off the ratings for people. So De Gea 6. De Gea 7 said Mad Marcus. And then a lot of people are saying that it would have been 4-0 without De Gea, which I 100% agree with. And then let's see here. Do you think Tuchel's has the right to celebrate like that? I mean, yeah, I think so. Luca, there are 2 Matthew McFadden's in the chat at the moment, and you know what? That's okay. They're not causing any problems, so we'll let them have the same name as Mr. Matthew McFadden. But we all know that the real Matthew McFadden has the spanner. He has the spanner. I mean, in fairness, haha banter. I would take Verratti at Manchester United right now. I might not like the fact that he plays for PSG, but there's 2 or 3 players for PSG I would take right now at Manchester United. And
well, to be honest, I'd probably take the whole back line.
It's fair. That's fair. But to talk about real quick, Matthew, the fact that we're going to move on to this next player who did put an absolute boot to ass of the guy that we hate so much, Ashley Young. It's going to be a hard one to rate, but you know, I look at what Ashley Young did yesterday, and it was an absolutely horrible performance overall. So, Matthew, what are you going to give him?
Right, I've been to Old Trafford 7 times now, and that performance alone was by an absolute country mile the worst individual performance I've ever seen. Not even from a United player, from an opposition player. And I've seen 5-1 Michelin's. I've seen Hull play United. It was the worst game I've ever seen live from anyone. And I don't know how much that was reflected in the TV or like on the streams or whatever you were watching. But he was just dreadful. I don't even know a single good thing that he did. I don't think he completed a cross. For the second goal, he was playing up front with Rashford. And then the guy next to me said, why is Ashley Young so far forward? We're going to concede here. 10 seconds later, we conceded. It was the worst game I've ever seen from anyone. So in terms of that, I'd give him a 0. But at the same time, I kind of want to give him a man of the match for absolutely yeeting Di Maria off the pitch. Because that was the single most funniest moment I've seen in a football game.
Dude, he went down like a baby back bitch off of just a little push.
Like absolute baby, the little rat. And then just sat there for about 20 minutes, expecting people to have sympathy for him. Like, no, get up.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody cares. And like
your times people sort of faking injuries. Specifically looking at you, Danny Alves.
Well, Danny Alves, we all know the problems we all have with him, but I mean, that's a different story altogether. 10 out of 10 for nearly breaking the snake arm, says your twin. That would have been pretty funny, I'm not going to lie. But Roberto Besquick said 3. Tyler 123, good to see you. And Roberto Besquick, I know he said that's a generous 3, which honestly, I'm giving him a 3 as well. Like I just, that was a horrible performance. Horrible performance. I get it. It's
3.
Like, yeah, I'm giving him a 3. No, I'm going to give him a 2.
I'm giving him a 0.
No, I'm giving him a 2. Like, I'm going to give him a 2 because ultimately you get 2 points just for bodying Angel Di Maria.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So, I mean, I'll give him a generous 2. Let's see here. Sorry, guys, my chat just like scrolled down crazy fast. So Young said Marcus is saying Young a very generous 5. Dan Jones saying Ashley Young gets a 2 from me. Haha Banter said Ashley Young a solid 7 for bodying the snake. Wesker for Life said he had 1 great cross and hit Di Maria, so 7 out of 10. So apparently Wesker's giving him all the points for just bodying Di Maria out of the stadium. Let's see here. We're just gonna have to deal with him for now and sign a right back ASAP. I hope so. Let's see here. And then I do not see anybody else that gave their rating. So I know Roberto said, were you at the stadium? If so, were there boos for Buffon? No, I did not hear any boos for Buffon.
No boo. The only player who actually got booed was the Snake.
Yeah, was the Snake himself.
And Danny Alves, to be fair.
And then Roberto, yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much everybody will agree that Pogba probably deserved the second yellow. Pogba got a straight red, didn't he? No, it was a second yellow because I saw him hand out a yellow and then a red. So it was a second yellow. So, I mean, it is what it is. But we move on. Let's go to our center back pairing, which honestly, I'm probably just going to rate them together because they're both going to get the same score. Like, and no, we'll honor them both. Let's do Eric Bailly first. How do you rate Eric Bailly, Matthew?
I don't know really. I barely saw him. If I'm honest, I saw Lindelof a bit more, which wasn't exactly a good thing yesterday. But yeah, Bailly, if I'm honest, I'm just going to give him like a default 6.
Default 6 sounds good to me. I mean, a lot of people were criticizing him for that second goal. And to me, I really watched that goal back. And to me, when I watched that, I did not see anything that Bailly could have done. I mean, he maybe could have stayed on his feet for an additional like half second more and then slid. But I still don't think, I mean, just the pace of Mbappe made all the difference in that goal. Because that man, all of a sudden, that I shouldn't even say that man, that kid went from being almost at a jogging pace to a world-class sprinter's pace in about a millisecond. It was outstanding. Outstanding. So I'll give Eric Bailly a 6. Let's see what you guys have to say about Eric Bailly. So Mad Marcus said 6 each. Haha Banter said 6. Dan Jones said Bailly was decent, in my opinion, 6. Lucas said 6 for both. Okay, maybe that's too harsh. 6 for each. Lindelof gets 6 for me, said Dan Jones, which in fairness, I'm probably going to give Lindelof a 6-2. Haha banter. Yes, we do know that. We do. Well, and that's the reason why Neymar is still gone. So, I mean, we let him do him, though, because we don't judge on this channel. You can't stop that kid Mbappe, no matter it. No defender in the world is getting there apart from maybe Chiellini, and that would probably be Chiellini in his prime too. I don't know. I like that was just another. Mbappe's one player that if I could get rid of Lukaku, Sanchez, and then I'd give him one additional player plus 120 million and give me Mbappe. I would literally like move mountains to try and get Mbappe here. Hey Matthew, do whatever you want on that one.
Yeah, I think I sent you a WhatsApp message just saying I know who it is.
Yeah, I do too. Just by the way that the person's like kind of been, acting.
Let's not focus on all that.
Yeah, we're not going to focus on all that. So let's see here. Mad Marcus, I will send you the pictures of the pictures of Neymar and his sister. It's kind of creepy. It really is kind of creepy.
Kind of is a bit of an understatement here.
It's yeah.
Like I think it's safe to say they are doing it.
Yeah, I really do believe so. And you know what? Cersei and Jamie do it. So I mean, meh. But let's go ahead. Let's move on. Lindelof. I mean, I think pretty much everybody gave them both a rating together. Lindelof 6.
See, I'm going to be harsh and give him a 5. He kind of looked like Lindelof last season on the ball when PSG were pressing a back line. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think he defended particularly badly. I don't think he could have really done much. There was that bit though where I think Mbappe threw a ball to run onto, and like I've never seen a player as fast as him ever.
Yeah,
it's just mad. And considering the fact that Lindelof's like a quick centre back as it is, like in the space of about 4 seconds, he's covered about 15 yards on him. It's just stupid how quick that guy is. I don't think I'm necessarily at fault with Lindelof as such.
Like I said, if I could, I would move mountains to get Mbappe here.
But I'd get him at all costs. Obviously, the chances on him actually coming here are probably 0.001%. But if there was somehow an opportunity where he wanted to leave Paris for some reason, screw it, pay 250 million for him. Yeah. He'll be the number step. He'll tear the Premier League apart. And to be honest, he's Pelé version 2.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I think that Mbappe is going to be the next player that we're going to look at and that's the next great player in the world.
Like if there's ever a player who can reach what Messi and Ronaldo did, then it's him.
Yep, 100%.
Someone who's 20 years old, he's not far off that. Like for me, apart from those big two, he's the best in the world. Because he's got everything that Rashford and Martial has, and then multiply that by about 10, and that's Mbappe.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think that Mbappe is just somebody that is that next level of talent, and it's something that if we added him here at Manchester United, granted, I also feel not the same way, but I feel similarly about Sancho, who had an outstanding first half in his Champions League match today, but the second half wasn't great. But in fairness, Dortmund didn't have a great second half at all. Haha banter, I agree. I don't see Mbappe leaving PSG unless it's for Real Madrid. I don't see it happening. And then Nathan Harper, just so you know, I think that both Matthew and I would agree we do still need a center back. I think we still need a center back, and we need to bring back Axel Tuanzebe and give him chances. That's just my opinion, though. But let's go ahead, Matthew. Let's move on to the other fullback who really just looked like a deer in the headlights last night against PSG. And in fairness, I'm not going to fully blame him because it looked like a lot of our players kind of got lost in the fact that we were playing PSG. I just really think that's true. So, Luke Shaw, How do you rate him?
Right, I've seen a few people giving him like a 6 out of 10 or something. And the only reason why I can think why that's possibly rated is because Ashley Young was so bad that anything on the opposite fullback side is an improvement on. For me, he was absolutely atrocious yesterday. Every single time he get in the ball, he wouldn't look forward. Or well, sometime he looked forward, and then Martial would be making a nice run. And he'd look at Martial, and we're thinking, okay, he's going to put a through ball here. And then he'd turn away and play a 5-yard pass to Matic. Every single time he got in the ball, he was just so slow, predictable. He'd take about 5 too many touches. Defensive positioning wasn't amazing, but wasn't too bad either. But it was just on the ball, and the overall build-up was just some of the most slow, turgid things I've ever seen. So for me, if I'm being particularly harsh, I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10.
So I'm not going to be...
Most of that is more down to frustration more than anything.
And I get that, and I think there's good reason to be frustrated today. Reaper 2004, I did not get a chance to see anything from any result today from any team other than the fact that I got the chance to watch part of the first half of the Dortmund and Tottenham match, and that's because I was home for lunch during that time. But I did hear that we did lose. That we did lose. I did hear that Dortmund played really poorly against Tottenham in the second half. The final score, if I remember correctly, Matthew, was 3-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually, because Vertonghen and Llorente, I think, scored in the last 10 minutes.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was Llorente that scored at the very end. Which, anyways, let's go ahead. Let's get into your guys' ratings for Luke Shaw, because for me, I'm going to give Luke Shaw a 4. He didn't have a good game, and he looked scared out there yesterday. That's really what it came down to, is he looked scared. And he wasn't the only one, but he looked scared. So let's see here. That was a good one, Matthew.
Just be more convincing. Come on.
But Roberto Besquick said 5.5 for Luke Shaw. Matt Marcus said 6. Dan Jones said Luke Shaw was bad, 3. Lucas said 6.5 at best. Haha Banter said 5. Let's see here. I mean, Matt Marcus, it happens, but you know what? We take it, we move on, and it just goes to show that we're doing something here on this channel. Yeah, just goes to show we're doing something on the channel. So, oh my God, Matthew, just go ahead. And then
it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a fun night, so it will be. At least you're testing my reactions. So thank you for.
I mean, Dan, it's gonna happen. You know what? It's okay. That's the reason why we have mods, and you know what? They're taken care of. But let's go ahead. Let's move on, because I think that I pretty much got everybody's ratings. So let's go to Nemanja Matic, who had a decent first half, but that second half he went back to the Mourinho of old. The Matic of old, the Mourinho Matic, the guy we never wanted to see again, made his appearance. What are you going to give him?
Yeah, first half, in the first 20 minutes, he looked up for it. He looked so up for it, like he was getting in the face of the opposition, and then it was just downhill from there, really. I thought the second half was just absolutely smooth on. And if I'm going to give him like a completely honest rating, probably would be a 4, because that second half was just so bad. It was arguably even worse than Mourinho's Matic, because under Mourinho, Matic would get the ball and then the opposition would press him because they know what to do. So like at times you can sort of say, okay, that's why he's panicking. But he'd be on the ball. PSG's front line didn't really press that much unless they were like really near them. but he just took so long in the ball. He was like Luke Shaw but in CDM. That's how I sort of compare it. I think I saw one good pass from him, and that was to Jesse Lingard in the first half. It was actually a really amazing through ball. Apart from that, he didn't really offer anything.
And so, Roberto, I actually agree with that. I think that the first half, you could probably make the argument that Nemanja Matic looked like he might have been our man of the match. And just that second half, he was 100% at fault for the first goal. There is no one else but him. He was supposed to be marking his man, and he let him go. I get that it's going to happen, but in a game against PSG where we just cannot have that happen, he let him go. It sucks. But let's hope that Nemanja Matic really can recover for this game against Chelsea, because we do need the real Nemanja Matic, the Ali Nemanja Matic, to show up against Chelsea. But I am going to give Nemanja Matic a 5 because I think that he was a little below average overall because his first half was so good. The second half, it was really bad, but that's why I'm dropping him just below average. So that's just me personally. And correct me if I'm wrong, Matthew, but we are currently sitting in a Champions League spot, are we not?
Yeah, we're sitting in a Champions League spot, so nice try. 6th account of this stream.
Yes, but you know what? I'll take that banter. I like it. That's some decent.
At least that's got an element to jokes. I mean, it's wrong, but it's a joke.
Yeah, I like it. So Roberto Beswick said, great first half, mediocre second half. In total, a 7. Haha Banter said 5.5. Actually, Roberto changed his rating to 6. Dan Jones said Matic was very slow and couldn't keep up, 4. Mad Marcus said 7. Let's see here. Roberto, I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up on everybody's ratings. So, and then I don't see anybody else's. So let's go ahead, Matthew. Let's move on. Let's go to Ander Herrera, who really, if you're gonna give a quote unquote Manchester United man of the match, he'd probably be the one, but it's not from anything other than the fact that we just really weren't good yesterday. So what do you give Ander Herrera?
I've honestly got no idea what to rate him, really. Like, I think if I was to sum him up, it would be kind of like Matic in that he was fully up for it in the first 20 minutes or so, but then just kind of quieting down. But I don't necessarily think he did that much bad, but he wasn't quite the Herrera that we saw recently, like in recent games. And I think a lot of that was pretty much because he would always give the ball to the sort of more creative players like Martial and Pogba, and they were completely marked out of the game. So I think it was more of a difficult game from Herrera rather than a poor one. So I think, like, I don't like giving half ratings myself, but I'd say 5 out of 5.5 or maybe a 6.
I was going to give him a 7, just for the simple fact that he was basically like our N'Golo Kante, that he truly was just running nonstop on the pitch. And PSG did a great job at getting rid of our threats. That's the one thing we can give them a lot of credit for. Marquinhos man-marked Pogba and really took him out of the match. It sucks, but it's true. And then just Thiago Silva was just genuinely on another level yesterday. And he took out all of our attacking threat. I mean, like you said, Matthew, I would genuinely... I would take a lot of the back line from PSG to come play for Manchester United. So it is what it is. But let's go ahead. Let's see what you guys have to say about Ander Herrera. So Roberto said Herrera was poor. 5, I think, is fair. Mad Marcus said Herrera top end 7. Never stopped running. Haha Banter said Herrera 6. Dan Jones said Herrera tried, but that was really it. So 5. Reaper said, I'm not rating any of the players after yesterday's game. We had a plan in the first half. We kept them at bay. Matic defended very well in the first half, but after Jesse and Tony left, everything changed, which is 100% true. 100% true. Let's see here. Phil Jones, by the way, good to have you here. But yeah, I do think that is the case, because I think I actually remember seeing somebody like that back when we were modding for the United Stand. So yeah,
I want to give a special shout out to that guy. Pete's opinion matters. Well, 1, it doesn't. 2, enjoy Europa League next year. You are literally playing Malta tomorrow.
That sounds like fun.
Eden Hazard will score 2 goals, and you'll call him the greatest thing since sliced bread.
And guys, listen, we're just. I think we are going to go ahead. I think we're going to start just ignoring the trolls. We'll just get rid of them, and it makes it so. Guess what? We don't care. We just don't. So, wait, did I hear that correctly? Molde is facing Chelsea. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But let's go ahead, Matthew. Let's move on to the guy that was really just genuinely taken out of the game by Marquinhos yesterday. And it wasn't just him. It was basically the entire team said, hey, we're not going to let Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial beat us. And that's exactly what they did, is they made sure that Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial did not beat them. So what do you give Paul Pogba?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you had that interview with Draxler, the PSG attacker, and he was saying Pogba's their biggest threat. It was something along the lines of Pogba's their biggest threat, but we know that we've got the capability to take him out of the game. And that was a perfect bit of foreshadowing for what we saw last night, because I think it took him 10 minutes to actually get his first touch on the ball. And because any time we would get into like PSG's attacking third, this is for all players pretty much, they would just be like, nope, you're not having the ball. We're getting it back. And it was like that with Pogba. Anytime Pogba would move forward, Marquinhos would move forward. Anytime Pogba would sort of get into the half spaces, Marquinhos would go there. And it was just, that plan from PSG was just executed absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it was. It really was. They because at the moment, we do not have the midfield talent. Like, and it sucks to say, because I do love Ander Herrera. I really do. And I'm okay with Nemanja Matic now. But at the end of the day, if we had better talent in that midfield, there's no way that they could take out Paul Pogba that easily. Because literally all it took was them saying, all right, Marquinhos, you're on him. Everybody else, make sure that the ball cannot get to Paul Pogba. And it is what it is. Like, it is what it is. Occasionally that's going to happen. So, I mean, realistically, Matthew, I'm going to give Pogba a 4. Because I think that him being taken out of the game, not really being able to get on the ball, he did his best when he was able to get on the ball. But other than that, I can't really say anything that he did that really helped. I mean, what about you? Like, I didn't really hear you give a rating.
Oh yeah, I forgot about rating. Pogba. See, I think when he actually got a touch on the ball in the first half, when he finally got his chance, he ripped that defence to shreds. Like, they just weren't expecting it. I think he skipped past about 3 players. But yeah, he just didn't get involved nearly as much as he wanted to, so I'll probably give him a 5. Like, when he was on the ball, he did okay, but he just was so quiet in that game.
So let's see here. I don't really see anybody giving ratings for Pogba. Does anybody have ratings for Pogba? If you want to get them in, get them now. So there we go. I see a couple of them. So Pogba difficult because Marquinhos did an exquisite job on Tuesday. So I think a 4 was quiet, said Roberto. I don't know what to give Pogba. He was man-marked out of the game and couldn't do anything, which that's fair. Lucas said Pogba is by far our best player. He did well considering there were 3 players on him at all times, which is way too real. Which, by the way, Jake, yeah, I get that Pogba was very, very poor. Marquinhos did to Pogba what Ander Herrera did to Hazard, which is 100% true. Very, very, very factual. Very factual. Matt Barker said Pogba 5, marked out of the game. Jake gave him a 5.5. Omar K said, first night in months, Mourinho sleeps deeply.
You can just tell he'd be celebrating that. He'd be celebrating that game so much.
He's thinking, man, I should have gone and go manage them last year.
Yeah. You should have. Remember those comments that he said, not this season, but last season about PSG, that it's such a great run club and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So, the Jose Mourinho comment here is pretty funny. It says, I see United are good without me. Always knew Pogba was the B-Tech Lallana, which that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. But let's be real, guys. Paul Pogba is one of the best players in the world. And because he does not have the midfield talent around him at the moment to be able to make up for the fact that they man-marked him out of the game. It's just the truth. And occasionally that's going to happen right now because we do not have the talent to back up everybody else. So it is what it is. So, Luca, I am very interested to see where Mourinho will get his next job. And Matt Marcus, I actually agree with that. I think that Luca, I do think that he will probably go international. You know what, Matthew? Let's go ahead. Move on to our attackers, which realistically aren't going to get any better ratings than we've already been giving. So what do you give Jesse Lingard? Let's kind of combine the ratings here because realistically, it's not like Lingard and Mata did any anything really different. I mean, Mata was poor, but so was Lingard. So, I mean, combining their rating, what do you give them?
If I'm combining the rating, giving them sort of average of both of those ratings, it'd be a 4 out of 10. Lingard, for me, I think he just had a quiet game.
Yep.
And he didn't do a great deal. But again, that's kind of like Pogba in the sense of the defence just had him completely nailed down. So there wasn't much that he could have done. So 5 out of 10 from him. Mata for me gets a 3. I thought he was abysmal. At this point, I don't care that he has a blog, and I don't care that he donates all those money to the Common Goal thing. But it's a good thing. But what we're judging him is on the pitch, and on the pitch he's been diabolical for the whole season, and he's not going to get any better. And I know it's because he's playing on the right wing, and that we don't really operate with a number 10. But you just don't play Max on the right wing. Play he's playing the right wing. Play someone like Chong. Even Gomez on the right wing, even though he doesn't really play that often, he'll be so much better than what Max is. Because he's an Alexis Sanchez, just on a different side of the pitch.
Yeah.
It was just so frustrating seeing him yesterday. Because, again, it was sort of like Sanchez, and we'll get into Sanchez, and he, to be fair, was even worse. But he'd get the ball, he'd look around, and he'd just try and play it so safe. And I don't know why, because normally you'd expect from Mata, sort of more creativity in his play. He'll try and put a through ball through to the attackers, or he might be a set-piece threat. He could take corners. He just had no impact.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, Mata didn't have an impact. Like you said, Lingard really didn't have an impact. I mean, it sucks, but it's true. So let's... I think the combined rating of 4 for both of them actually is very appropriate, but I'm just going to give them both a 4. That's just me personally. I'm giving them both a 4, and I'm just like, you know what? They're just Mata needs to be let go. As unfortunate as it is, we're never going to play him at the 10, which is the place where if we're going to keep him, he needs to play, but he's never going to play there. And then just the right wing for Manchester United is a problem spot. We all know it. We've known it for a while, and that's why I think all of us are kind of hoping we will see the likes of Tahith Chong or Mason Greenwood get chances. I'm not saying Mason Greenwood is a right winger by any means, but I think we want to see chances given to them.
At least Greenwood actually has a bit of pace and directness.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I wouldn't even mind seeing going to like a 4-4-2 diamond. I think that could even be helpful for us.
Could be.
But let's go ahead. Let's get to your guys' ratings for the combined of them. Jake Hubbard says, or Herbert. Jake Herbert said 4 for both, and same for Martial. He was kind of invisible. Yeah, he was definitely. That's for sure. Dan Jones said Lingard was average 5. Mata can't play on the wings 3. Omar K said we may as well wait until May and reassess from there. Which Raha Banter, I did see your question about Ollie and Poch, who should be given the job. And for me, I'm still like I'm the one that's been pushing for Poch for the longest time. And when Ollie started succeeding, I've been, you know what, give the guy that's a former player the job. But for me, at the moment, I'm still saying give Ollie the job. But at the same time, I'm not going to deny that Pochettino would still be a very good option for us. And Matthew, I'm sure you'll probably echo that sentiment.
Yeah, definitely. I had myself on mute there, but I just checked to the last minute before I made an absolute arse out of myself. But yeah, see, there's still those 3 names. There's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there's Zinedine Zidane, and there's Mauricio Pochettino. And I think really right now it's about to toss up between all of them, because even though Ole's been on a mad run of form and he's won 10 out of 12 games, which by any manager standards is just unreal, it's still only been about 2 months. And this run of February going into March is probably going to be that run actually testing to see what he's all about. If we can get some wins there, then I think it's a case of, just give him the job now. But then there's Poch, who, despite those injuries to pretty much his 2 best players in a way, he's actually done really well and beat Dortmund 3-0 at home. So, there could be an argument for him. And then Zidane, does he really need an introduction? Nope.
So Matthew, for some reason, I couldn't do that one, but I was going to. But
no, don't worry.
But we're not talking about anybody else anymore. So I mean, like you said, Matthew, I don't know. Like it's a rough one. And you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's read out what if anybody else has any more ratings. And I really don't see anybody else's. But Jake, I don't understand either. Just so you know, it happens. And I think just this person is obviously going for the most amount of YouTube accounts created in world history in an hour.
I mean, at least we'd be part of a Guinness World Records, which is quite nice.
That is fair. That is fair. But you know what? Let's go ahead, Matthew. Let's move on to the other wing. Let's move on to Anthony Martial and Alexis Sanchez, who again will get a combined rating since they're once again, it just is going to be a combination. So, Matthew, what do you give them combined?
Was that Martial and Rashford together? You sort of cut off for a little bit there.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I said combined rating of Martial and Sanchez since they both played a half.
Right. Martial, for me, gets a 5 out of 10. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a maths lesson here. The average rating of both of them is a 3. So that means that Alexis Sanchez gets a big fan. I thought the only reason why I didn't give him a 0 was because he wasn't quite as disgraceful as Ashley Young, and that he only played one half. But in that half, did you really see him make any crosses? Did you see him make any good runs? Did you see him pass the ball? Did you see anything really? He did nothing that whole game. He is like a one-man to play on the left wing, in that he's not got any pace, he's not got any sort of directness, and I don't even think it's a loss of confidence at this point. I think he's just a low motivation.
Yeah,
I think most of us were sort of expecting, maybe not on the set of words like under Ole, but somewhat of an improvement, because traditionally speaking, he's that kind of pressing forward. He'll really get in your face. He's like an Ander Herrera, but further up the pitch. He's just not been that. whatsoever. And he's arguably been the biggest disappointment because he was such a high-profile player.
Yeah.
And he's just turned into this. It's not even a case of he's finished at the top level. I just think he's a bad player in general.
It's unfortunate.
Like, to Martial, I think it took him 20 minutes to get his first touch.
It did.
Because I think it was that right-hand side combination of Dani Alves in the right wing, and I think it was Thilo Kehrer as the right back, who just completely marked him in the game as well. It's pretty much the same as what Pogba faced with Marquinhos. So, and I think in a way, PSG having those players out was actually a bit of an advantage for them because it means that they could go more defensive. They could play Dani Alves in the right wing and then double mark Martial.
Yes.
Which just took him out of the game. So I think if they actually had Cavani and Neymar, then, well, both of them, specifically Neymar, are just absolutely world class. It might have left the door a little bit open for us to attack them more. But because they didn't have them, they could sort of put their focus on defending and allow like the likes of Mbappe, Draxler and Di Maria to really sort of contribute to attacking.
And, I mean, Matthew, so for me, Alexis Sanchez, I mean, we've talked about it before, and we talked about it off stream. I think that ultimately you're right, that I do think that with Alexis Sanchez, as much as it sucks to say, he has been the biggest disappointment that has ever come to Manchester United. And that includes Angel Di Maria, which is crazy to say. Like, genuinely, I don't know. Alexis Sanchez, I wish that he was different. Like, I wish it had turned out different, but it didn't. But as for Martial, like we talked about, we talked about it last night, and I thought it was an outstanding way to put it, Matthew. I mean, you said it here. You did say it here too. Ultimately, Martial, he was double marked on that left-hand side because they had two right backs on the pitch. Like,
I mean, to be fair, Thilo Kehrer is a centre back, so he's going to be more experienced in the proper art of defending, and that just helps so much.
And I think that ultimately the combined rating for the two is going to be a 4 because I'm going to give Martial. No, it's going to be a 3 because I'm going to give Martial a 5, and then I'm going to give Sanchez a 1. Like, he was so bad yesterday. He did nothing to help us, and that sucks. That really sucks. But let's go ahead. I didn't really see. Let's see. So actually, Jake said Martial 4, Sanchez 2. It's like he's given up on the club. He's not even showing the effort anymore. That's something we did talk about in the last stream that we talked about. That Matthew, the fact that at least Sanchez looked like he was trying. Like in this yesterday, it didn't even look like he was trying.
We've seen such a massive regression in terms of our expectations for him. Like when he first signed, we were expecting, this is a big boy in the league. Like he's at the likes of Hazard, Pogba, De Bruyne, that kind of level where he's elite. And then it went from his first half of the season to being poor, and then thinking, okay, maybe he's got a new season, things will be fine. He's got that rest that he hasn't had in about 8 years. Let's see how he does. And then he's been the same old. And then Jose got sacked, and then Ole came in, and we were thinking, okay, right, he might improve. His style of play seems to be more suited towards Sanchez. And then it's got even worse. And now we're at the point of he's coming on. We're thinking, okay, he's not going to do anything. But I think the biggest teller in terms of how far someone's fallen is what our own fans' expectations are of them.
Yeah.
And we've gone from expecting an absolute world beater to expecting absolutely nothing and no passion whatsoever.
Yeah.
In the space of 1 whole year.
Yeah.
And he's 30 years old. He's not going to get any better. He's like Wayne Rooney in terms of he's had such a massive decline and he's not going to get any better.
Yeah. I think that I just think that it's time for him to move on. He needs to go to another league because I think that's going to be the only way that he might be able to regain his form. It might be the only way. But Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford. I mean, Marcus Rashford really didn't have the service yesterday. And so I'm not going to put a lot of fault on him. So what are you going to give him?
Yeah, I kind of feel sorry for him because he just didn't have that service. It was kind of like Lukaku in some aspects of last season, where Pogba really didn't play that well or whatever. He just didn't have enough service, so can't really blame him for too much. And to be fair, I don't think I saw him on the ball more than like 10 times. And that was even included picking up the ball and then carrying it a little bit and making a 5-yard pass. He just barely got the ball whatsoever, probably due to how good, apart from that, what should have been a red card, Kimpembe and what's the other guy, Thiago Silva were. So I think it was more good defence rather than poor performance from him. But yeah, I'd have to give him a 5 out of 10.
That's exactly what I'm giving him too. I'm giving him a 5 because ultimately he had nothing to do. Nikki, yes, 100%. I think everybody will agree with that, but it's not the reason why we lost. And Dan, I do agree that Lukaku did not warrant a rating, but we give Lukaku 0s because he did nothing. So
I actually touched the ball when he came on.
I really don't think so. But haha, Banter, good to see you. Hope you could join us live some more, but we're just about wrapped up here anyways. So, Marcus Rashford, like I said, I just feel bad for the kid. He really didn't have service. And let's just hope that the next game we see better, because I think that we will. I really do. I think next game we will see better. And my hope is at least one of one of Martial and Lingard will be able to be there, because I think without them, we are pretty well screwed against Chelsea. So let's do the ref rating. -7. Yes, Jake. Yes. But in fairness, I'm not really going to give the referee a rating. I'll get. Yeah, you know what? Just because he was handing out all the yellow cards, we'll give him a yellow. We give the referee a yellow card because he felt like handing out yellows like they were candy on Halloween. So yeah, referee, you get a yellow. But anyways, guys, Ollie, I really don't feel like deserves to get I don't know. Maybe he does deserve to get a rating, but this was his first really big team that he played, and I think it kind of showed his lack of big game coaching experience, which I think is okay. Like, that's okay. You've got to learn by doing it.
Exactly. Like, people talk about, he's not experienced in this area or whatever when it comes to a player or a manager. But how else are you going to get experience?
Yeah.
It's like when you're looking for your first job or whatever, and then a job's trying to hire, the young people, and it says you must have like 5 years of experience. Well, you can't really get that because I'm young, and because this isn't going to be my first job. It's a bit of a paradox almost.
Yeah, it is. It is. So Matthew, let's wrap it up with this. Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be after? This is his first loss. Do you think he should still be considered the #1 contender for the job at the moment?
I think if you've changed your mind based on one loss up against an absolutely fantastic team whose manager got his spot on today, despite their sort of depleted squad, then it's Arsenal fan TV mentality. I'd say if you were sort of skeptical of him before going into this game, and now you're sort of like, yeah, I can kind of see why I was skeptical, that's fair enough, but I don't think one loss, even though it was frustrating, is enough to really completely turn your head on a manager. I'd still take him. Well, I think it's still quite early, but based on what we've seen so far, if the season ended today, then I would give him the job.
Yep.
However, ultimately, we've still got another 3 months. For all we know, we could win every single game for the next 3 months, but for all we know, it could be like Jose Mourinho again in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So to really 100% say, yeah, give him the job is a little bit too early, but based on what we've seen so far, yeah, I'd give him it.
And honestly, Matthew, I'm in 100% agreement with you. I think that we just right now, I would say, yes, Ollie still deserves the job. But like we've been saying, from the start, I'm okay. The reason why I'm okay with waiting till the end of the season is because it allows us to see what all will be accomplished by everybody. And will Pochettino show that he deserves to have the Manchester United job? I feel he already has, but I would be 100% okay with Pochettino becoming the next Manchester United manager. Just like I would be 100% okay with Ollie becoming the next Manchester United manager. I'm fine with either. And ultimately, end of the day, right now, I would say give Ollie the job because I think that the players love playing for him. I really believe that. And you watch what's going on the pitch, and I think that you'll also agree that ultimately everybody loves playing for Ollie at the moment. And that's exactly what we need. Dan, by the way, there's no way that's happening. And for the most part, it sounds like everybody is echoing the fact that Ollie should still be given the job. But guys, we're going to wrap it up there. I mean, Matthew, I need confirmation because I still did put the link for your store in. Have you put the store on hold at the moment, or what's going on?
Like the store is still going as normal. So for those who don't know, last night I got a big claim from none other than the representatives of Kylian Mbappe, basically saying, "Yeah, we don't like the fact that you've got a poster of him up in your store." And it's like, okay, fair enough, but I've had one or two of those in the past before, where again it's been like, all right, fair dues, whatever. But it's sort of at the stage where it's like, come on, mate, can you not do that? But it's a complicated situation, but the store is still up. You can still get pretty much every single poster there, apart from any Mbappe ones.
Mm.
And also, I'm going to quickly copy the link here because it's very, very important. So most people on the stream know that I'm in my last year of uni right now. I've got my big dissertation coming up, and I do need a little bit of help with it. In terms of, I've got the survey here, which literally takes like 2 minutes to complete. It's just about match programs. So it's based for Phoenix Rising fans or fans who are supporters of any other club. Just 1 or 2 little questions to fill out. And I'll get the link for that pretty soon, but you can sort of go into the end of the stream if you want.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, put it in there, and I'll throw it in there at the. As a matter of fact, if you just want to send me a DM of the link, I'll add it to the video. So, but I mean, guys, like I said, Matthew makes these posters right here, which are absolutely phenomenal. And Jake, just so you know, that's what I'm talking about. So Matthew has an Etsy store where he creates these posters. So at the moment, his store is still up, which is amazing. I thought that you were going to be putting it on hold for a second, though. So that's the reason why I was asking.
Just one section of my coursework a night, because obviously I have tons of work. But no, right now, like it's the same as always, but I'm just a little bit on edge.
I get it. No, and I get it. So, I mean, guys, Matthew makes phenomenal posters. He makes these. He makes this right here. He makes really great stuff. If you want something like one of these two or this, go to his store and go get a poster because they are really awesome. But Matthew, thank you for joining me, my friend. I really appreciate it.
No worries. No worries. It's a bit of a late one.
Yeah.
Compared to normal, but hey, Arizona sleep schedule and all that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, no, we out here in 2019 with weird sleep schedules. It's just the truth. But guys, if you could drop a like, if you could drop a like on your way out, just for the simple fact that we had all the trolls on this stream, it would mean a lot because we did have a lot of trolls today. It was funny at times, but
I think it was like you had 1 or 2 decent accounts that posted some good memes, but on the whole, it just got boring.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyways, guys, I really do hope that you guys all will realize that it's just one bad result. It's just one. Ollie still has the team playing at another level. We still went on to try and fight and just absolutely we didn't quit. That's something that I think we can ultimately say. We did not quit yesterday. So do not get disheartened over one bad result. We're just not ready to compete with Europe's elite at the moment, and that's okay. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you just all do truly have a great night, a great day, wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. Keep doing you because I love you guys, and you guys are awesome. Have a great rest of your night.